So I've just filmed a houseplant tour and I went to edit it, and my phone, so I film on my phone and it has one of these on the back. So all you can hear throughout the whole video is that. And I'm like, it's not that annoying. Oh, it is. I was in like, what, 4 minutes into a 50-minute video? And yeah, so I'm refilming it. So if it sounds like I'm whizzing through them, it's because I've already done it once. A plant's a plant. You don't need a full explanation. Should we start with my Hoya Bella just because it looks so pretty? I know the light's horrible, but last time I moved it into the... Oh, you can see in silhouette all the blooms on it. Right, none of the blooms are open. You're missing nothing. That is my... what's this called? A Philodendron Brazil. It will get lighter. They're not all in a north-facing window. Look at this. I'm going to have to move it, aren't I? Let me just climb into the plant. Right, there we go. Look, just look at that. She's beautiful. She is beautiful. And she is covered flowers. We're going to call them flowers. I'm not calling them peduncles because I said it's my mum and she told me I'm not allowed to use that word. Look at you. They look like little sweets. It smells of nothing. Normally they smell a little bit fragrant, but she's gone big on volume and not so big on fragrance. This Philodendron Brazil, I cut it back to like this stringy thing, and it's getting loads of new growth on it. Let's pull you down. This plant actually looks much better in silhouette. It's doing a lot of neon, a lot of half moon, not a lot. I don't think I've seen any actual, like, all these proper Brazil leaves are old. I don't know what she's doing, but do you know what? She's happy, who cares? That is my wildflower meadow. You can see one wildflower. That's all you need. You just need one. This is a Hoya Crinkle 8. This half was in leca. This half was in soil. This was a cutting in leca. Like, I'm not saying that leca produces smaller growth. Like, I actually think she grew better in leca, but I couldn't be bothered to keep up with it. This is, yeah, this is what it is. This is the plant. This is my bathroom. Hello, I'm there. This is my peace lily. That, right, it looks a little bit raggy, but actually what it's doing is it is basically abandoned all this growth. It's like, not for me, whatever. And I think it started to pull nutrients from it. They could just be old. I have been fertilizing it, but to come into the undergrowth, this is where all the action is. Absolutely loving it. So there's like loads here. So this, you can see that, oh, you can't see a thing. You can see here, this is the centre of the old plant. Here we have my Monstera deliciosa looking awful, but she is getting new growth. I'm not chopping off the old scaggy growth until she gets better new growth. This is her second, that's the newest, well, this is the newest leaf, isn't it? This is the newest leaf. This weird one, I think this one wanted to be a Brazil form. That's like the newest fully out one, and then this was the one before it. So it is definitely getting there. There's 2 stems in there, which I wouldn't recommend, but I'd just end it with Monstera everywhere, so this is how we're doing it. This is another, let's put it over here. This is another raggy looking one, but again, this one had thrips for the longest time. Hence this kind of like tiny rubbishy growth. This one's okay. This is a leaf from last year. And then these are my 2 leaves from this year. They're looking stunning. And then this, I think, is a bloom. Anthurium clarinervium bloom all the time. And I hate the blooms. They smell like bin juice. And then we've got more leaf action happening there. Now we should go into my office to find, this is a Dracaena marginata. Doing really well actually, considering it's been neglected its whole life, which is quite long, hence this tiny spindly little stem. But it's getting a bit fuller there. This is a golden pothos. This is a north-facing window. The window is there. You could swing one cat in here, but definitely no more than that. It's not a big room. So it is pretty close to the window, and it's doing okay. There's also a vine of marble queen at the back. I don't know why, oh, I remember why. That is the marble queen I used. I did an experiment as to whether it actually made a difference if you put a pothos in with a propagation, see if it actually does make it root faster, and it does. So yeah, that's in there. So it is getting more variegated. It was neglected for a very long time, but it's okay now. There is some like properly variegated stuff back there. This is a ZZ plant with new growth. I don't think that new growth is committed. It wouldn't surprise me if that just disappeared and it like replaced it with a better one. Like, no offense, it's beautiful, but I don't know. It's got a weird black mark on it. Over here we have a mystery plant. This is old wallpaper from the old people that lived here. I don't know what this situation is, but right, so when I pulled it off, I went to pull it off and it ripped off some of this like textured paint, and there's more textured paint underneath it that's bright red. So I've stopped, and we've basically said we're not doing anything with the decor until we can have it all like reskimmed and stuff. Anyway, I don't know what this is, some sort of epipremnum. It wouldn't grow for me for ages, and then I put it in leca, and it's like, yeah, that's what I was after. So fair enough. This is a Hoya pubicalix, which is doing this business. Don't know where it's going. So Hoya like whip their vines around trying to find something to climb up. And I love how this one was like, right, I'm off. There's definitely nothing to climb up. And this one was like, I'll just climb up you. So that's inevitably going to end in tears. I did have some issues with this. You can see there's like yellow marks on it. This is healthy. This is variegation. This is not. It's these weird like pocks in it. I think it is cold damage, but I don't know. It's all, I don't have any new growth with it on. It's just all old. Seems okay. This is my Rhaphidophora decursiva. These are all like the immature leaves. I bought it with all immature leaves, and then it just threw out this absolute monster. Then it was like, right, we're going to dial that back because that was ridiculous, and this smaller one, and now it's climbing up the wall. And there's another vine on here also climbing up the wall. So he seems happy. Now we are in my bedroom, which is 2 rooms knocked into one, so it's obnoxiously big. This is apparently some sort of monstera, but like a pothosy one. It looks, this is green plant. If this was labelled as a green plant, I'd be like, well, I can't complain because it is a green plant. I really like it. I don't know why. It's just green plant. Love. This is a Scindapsus pictus, which grew not at all for the longest time. And now it's like, do you know what? I will grow. And it is. Ooh. Growth points everywhere. This is a teeny tiny silver sword philodendron that I think I took cuttings of this years ago and it's never really got going, but seems to be okay now. It's got 2 growth points. It's actually got like 1, 2, 3, no, that's 1. 1, 2, 3, 4 growth points. Well done. This is a Pothos Enjoy, and I thought it had thrips for so long, and I was like, this is weird because it's the only one left that has thrips damage. I kept finding the odd thrips, but it's the only one that's got actual damage. But then I noticed this, the new growth is coming like basically rotten, and it's not underwatered and it's not thrips. I think because it was fine until I started fertilizing every other time I watered, and I think it's over fertilized, and that kind of tracks with the damage I'm seeing. It's poisoned, so I'm just gonna water that normally for a while. This is another green plant. I think this is an epipremnum. I think this is a slightly wider or like smaller form than the other one. This grows very leggy. So I've got a load of cuttings in there, and like these are all looped. So I've like layered them back in the soil. They're all loops. She says, picking out one that isn't a loop. A lot of them are loops. So I'm propagating like that for a bigger, fuller plant. This is a squamiferum. You can tell by the, what's this? The furry petioles. It will become more squariferum shaped when it's bigger. I have no idea if I'm saying that right. This is the philodendron narrow, which is, you know, like a caramel marble, but green. The boring form of that. Sorry. The regular form of that. That's what you are. This is my marble queen. At some point, I don't know, like this is Marble Queen. There's a lot of half moons, but you know, this is pretty standard Marble Queen. Is this Snow Queen? I mean, it's all the same plant, but they are all the same plant. It's a beautiful half moon up there. Look at that. But yeah, I think you're a Snow Queen. She's on a moss pole. I really like those moss poles, but I'm terrible at keeping them wet, so she doesn't really attach to it. She's just zip tied on. This is a begonia. It never grew. It was one of these like grow a leaf, kill a leaf, but then this happened. It looks like a little monster. So I'm hoping we've turned a corner and she likes being up here. So there's a big window there and a big window there. That's north facing, that's south facing. That is a load of, this is neon pothos, that is mandula pothos, and this is, what are you? Lemon lime philodendron. They were all like looking awful, so I put them all together in one pot so they could like, they wouldn't die alone. But they've all started doing really, really well. I don't quite understand why. So this is the one that had more thrips than the Enjoy. And this one is doing really, really well from being fertilised a lot. I think this one just must be more established. It's got a few growth points. Just seems really happy. This is my Peperomia Hope. I've no idea if it's happy. It's growing really, really leggy, but also, normally when they grow leggy, they grow like this. So you just have a couple of leaves per node. This one's just got a whole cluster. So I have no idea. It's also started growing a lot at the top. There's a few different growth points. I'm going to assume it's happy. I hate this pot. It's one with, it's got like an inner pot. And then there's string at the bottom and you put a reservoir, but it's too long, like too deep for the water to wick up properly. So I just use it as a normal pot. I think this is a philodendron subpestatum, but we won't know until it's out. And it's had this leaf spike for months, so this might just be it. This is a Scindapsus Tree Midnight. It looks dead. And to be honest, most of the vines are dead. But there is one. There is a little nub there that I've got high hopes for. This is my current pride and joy. I don't know why I love it so much. I love it like a messy plant, but like, I think because the leaves are so uniform in shape, she says, with this like raggy one. I don't know. I just like it. It's cool. And then we've got my variegated Alocasia amazonica. You can see there's a bit of variegation on this new leaf coming here. Can you see that? So the leaves are purple and then this bit's white, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 new plants, I suppose. This is a very sad Justina, which has never really done anything. It's always growing a bit, but never seems to get any bigger. I've tried it in everything, tried it everywhere. This seems to be good for it. We'll see. This is a variegated rubber plant. There she is. She's beautiful. These new leaves are massive. They will get smaller because, let me turn it this way so you can see. So I've nipped off the top growth because I wanted it to branch. And the reason you can't see is because it's too dark in the middle of the plant. So we've got new growth point here, and then there's a growth point here. This one's bigger than that one, but that one was quite established and then that one popped out. So I think they're both going to go and it should branch. And then this is a big one, and then there's a baby. This is a same plant but different variegation pattern. This is a moonshine. Has a touch of the old spider mites, but I'm keeping on top of it. This I bought from I say I bought it from a tiny baby. It's not much more than a tiny baby. It's just put out this leaf, and then it's got one coming here. It will be a tissue culture one. So it's a brand new baby plant, and the leaves are really, really wonky. I'm guessing they straighten out as they get older. Who knows? And then this is a burgundy rubber plant. I tried to notch it to get it to branch, but I just ended up knocking off the top growth point and it did branch. So we got there in the end, and it's got you can't see, too much light. Still can't, too many windows, Jesus. The colour of these is, it's normally hot pink, but this is more like an orangey red. It's pretty. Then we have my weird looking Schefflera. It grew and grew and grew, and now I think it's lost its confidence. It had thrips, so it is really unphotogenic. It's a Schefflera. It grows well and it's cute, so that's all that matters. This is the Tenanthe Lubbotsiana that houses all the thrips. I think this is where thrips originally came from, because it always has one or two. I've been looking every day, and I think I may. Do you know what? Don't say anything. We'll just assume it always has thrips. It grows really fast here. It's got 1 million growth points, but it doesn't produce variegated leaves, which is fine by me. I'm really not bothered. And then this is my other ZZ plant. Ooh. With a new, what is this called? A new bit. There's a new bit coming. It will be the first new growth on the ZZ plant since thinking about 2 years. This is my peace lily in Leca. It doesn't look, I was going to say it doesn't look healthy on camera. It's one of those plants, it either looks really healthy or really not healthy at all. These bits along the bottom, they're sad. This bit's happy. There's a flower there, and there's a new flower coming there as well. It does like it here. This is my entrance, and it's really, really bright. It's north facing, but so it's like not that bright, but it's there's a little window. And then this is my Tradescantia Nanook. My niece got me this for Christmas in one of those kokedama things. I had to take it out of that because I think there was too much soil, and it was, I think it was like just garden soil. She did not like it in there. My mum kept it in the same soil, and it's doing really, really well in her conservatory, so I think it just holds a bit too much water, but if it's getting enough heat and sun, it'll be fine. But yeah, the leaves on this are getting massive, and it's got some flowers as well. I don't know if these are like flowers or seed pods. There is one that has both. There's a little flower coming there. But I don't know whether these are seed pods or like the flower just hasn't formed properly. It's pretty. And my mother-in-law made me this macrame hanger thing. These are the plant predators. They're actually really good. They're really good. We don't let them anywhere near the plants. So this is Smaug. I have tried 1 million times to get him to look respectable, but whatever I do, I cut him back so hard and he just didn't care. Every now and again he'll grow like a big leaf. Like this isn't even that big for a golden dragon, but it's a proper shape. And then he's like, actually no, I'll just grow like 5 tiny ones, and then like he'll throw out one like this. Do you know what? He's happy, who cares? This is a Calathea orbifolia. Seems happy. This is a south-facing window. This is a north-facing window, but that's only little. And it's sort of smack bang between them, and it seems pretty happy there. This is a Cebu blue. I want to say pothos then. Is it an epibramnum? And I got it to put it on a pole and grow it up, but I actually really like the way it looks here. So I'm just leaving it. And then we have a lemon lime maranta. I thought I could see somebody moving in the terrarium, but I can't. The terrarium is almost impossible to film. But it's being ripped apart at the weekend anyway, so it doesn't matter. Because all the plants need to come out. That velvet touch is too big. Little sneaky look. There is a beautiful marble queen pothos in there. And the gecko. Where's the gecko? Oh, there's the gecko. Gorgeous marble queen pothos. Those leaves are massive. They're gonna hate coming out. Right, yeah. Lemon lime maranta. It's got a little bloom on it. Cute. Now we've got my Monstera Adansonii, which is sending a lot of signals that it needs to be repotted, but it looks so good. It needs, like, every time I water it weekly, and it's always like gagging for a drink whenever I go to water it, so it definitely needs a bigger pot. It's got quite a few growth points. This one I had to rescue. It was growing through another hole. I was going to say I don't know how they manage in the wild without people sorting out their leaves, but that was the point. They are very, very rare in the wild. They're extremely common, like, don't get me wrong, but they are very, very rare in the wild because they just can't manage it. This is just a Phalaenopsis orchid, a moth orchid. Got it from Tesco's for a tenner, and I've actually cracked orchid care for me, for my plant style, and it has rewarded me with a, oh god, what's this called? A flower spike. And what I've done is I took it immediately out of the bark and put it in this jar. This is full of water, but I only keep it in water for about an hour a week. Every 2 weeks I put it in nutrient water, and then I just keep it completely bare root the rest of the time, and it's gone really, really well. Well, I say really, really well, it's produced this, so I think it's gone really well. It's my spider plant. I finally managed to keep one alive, and it has had many thousands of babies. I don't really know I don't want many thousands of spider plant babies, and my parents have a spider plant that always has millions of babies, so it's not like I can really give them away because we've already got a spider plant supplier in the family. So they're just going to stay there, and we're going to see. This is an Epipremnum marble planet, or a Monstera Peru. I think it's an Epipremnum. I don't think it's a Monstera, but no one really knows. Well, somebody does, but nobody's telling us. And then there is a little begonia baby down there that really needs chopping and propping. This is a Philodendron Florida Green, but she does produce quite a few leaves with sport variegation on them. Again, one that does have a bit of a growth pattern issue, like she doesn't grow in a pretty way. I keep having to chop her back. This is my Syngonium mottled. She did one big green and I thought, well, that's it for her, but then the next one was that one, so this one looks all green though. Who cares? The pole it's on is a Crotiste pole. It's made out of recycled potato peels, I believe. Oh, there's another growth point down there. God, what weird little leaves. It's alright, you're trying your best. I like the moss pole. You don't need to keep it wet or anything, and you can see the aerial roots are definitely rooting. Oh god, what is this? So yeah, they seem to really like it. I know it's wonky. I've not put it in properly. I literally just like shoved it in, and then I was using one of the leaves from my Florida Green. I was keeping it upright like that, but it's like shielding the new growth in the Syngonium, so yeah. But yeah, I will do a full review once I've had it longer, but the Crotiste pole I'm impressed with so far. In terms of like them rooting in and it requiring no maintenance, I'm like absolutely doing your job, mate. Down here are some propagations that I've just potted up. This was it still is, a Philodendron micans. I took cuttings from it when it was in the terrarium. When they grow in the terrarium, the humidity makes the aerial roots go in really, really furry. So I didn't actually root it, I just cut it and then put the aerial roots in the soil. And I think there's one cutting in here that hasn't rooted, but the others, I think there's like 4 that have, and they're all producing like new growth. So, oh, there's a new growth point just there. And then these were just traditionally propagated Rhaphidophora because my big Rhaphidophora got stem rot. These are cactus babies that I grew from seed, and they are extremely cute. There's one there, one there. I think they're all different types. They are literally the size of, they're probably not even the size of frozen peas. They are teeny tiny. There's also 2 Ficus benjamina. I put a lot more seeds in, but only 2 grew. This big vat of water is my Monstera Thai constellation. It's actually decided to start growing this year. So we've had this leaf so far, and this is the newest leaf. It's not hardened off yet. This is a south-facing window, and it gets a lot of light, and it's growing really, really well, and I've had no burning. So obviously you would need to acclimatise a plant, but it really, really likes it here. So I've got my baby monstera. This was one of those $3.99 baby plants that I've just separated out. And my big monstera, which... So this big monstera doesn't grow in a traditional... What is this? Right, so every time I want to get a new leaf from it, I have to dig around in the petiole. I don't know why, and I'm not recommending you do it, but it was... Yeah. I don't know if the petiole's too thick for it to emerge out of, but that's what I seem to have to do. I'm hoping the next one I won't have to do that, but it's getting the ruffles on the backs of the leaves. Here we have a variegated Hoya kerrii, another one that's just started to grow. So we've got a growth point here, a growth point on the left there, and I believe there is one just starting to emerge there, just to the right of that top leaf. This is my Hoya Crimson Princess. She's actually got a lot of different, all her vines are different. And she is big on the vining currently. There's another one there. No blooms though. I thought I had peduncles, but I don't. There's also this, she's really liking this like really deep magenta. Some of them fade and some of them stay pink. And then we have that's a Hoya Parasitica black margin or black edge that likes to vine onto my sofa. And also she has decided that she's going to climb my monstera, which is absolutely fine. You may as well earn his keep. And then down here we have a Begonia Caroline. It didn't grow for the longest time. Then this one's really taken off. This one, I believe, it's starting to go. Yeah, there's definitely some green there, which is very exciting. I love this plant. This has seen dinosaurs. And now we're on to, oh god. And now we are on to my little plants. Now this is a sad tale. This is a Ficus Audrey. I know it has a growth point there, but that's not done anything in the longest time. I bought a lot of these small plants together and I think they all took off and this one didn't, and I uppotted it at the same time and it's done this. It obviously had more leaves than this, but we're, oh god. Yeah, RIP. What I'm going to do is pop it upstairs with the other ficus because they all really love it up there, and whilst it's the same south-facing window, like it's literally above this one, the direction, there must just be something about it that they like, so yeah, you can say that. This is my Florida Green. This leaf is actually older than that leaf, even though, like, so the leaves come in white and then they fade to green. It used to live in the terrarium because I was scared it would get too cold over winter. But it was basically bleaching it. So you can kind of tell on the stems that it's bleached. So I'm kind of glad it's getting a little bit more chlorophyll. So it's not really grown a lot, but it's fine. It's happy enough. And this was $16.99 for just a tiny little specimen. As I said, these are all tissue cultured, and I know a lot of people don't like tissue culture, but it is also a great way to get a plant much cheaper. This is my Philodendron Pink Princess. She started off very low variegation, but it seems to be increasing with age. I don't think that leaf has got much variegation from what I can see without unfurling it, which I really want to do, but I'm not gonna. But I'm more interested in growing it bigger. I'm not that bothered about variegation. I mean, it's pretty, but yeah. This is an medium silver. They get big and fenestrated when they get older. This, I don't know why it was so cheap. $9.99. And then I believe the $22.99 was also reduced. They were really expensive not that long ago. It has a lot of growth points. It's got one here. There's one there. There's one there, and then I think there's a couple actually on the main plant. Yeah, so there's one here. Yeah, and then one there. Oh, and another one back here. I mean, the growth points won't all flourish, but it's still nice. This is my Philodendron verrucosum. I think this one was $6.99. I got it in a plant haul not that long ago, so you can go back and check. Look at those hairy petioles and the backs of the leaves. Just a stunning plant. And is that the newest? This is the newest leaf. They're like neon when they first come out, and then they do fade a little bit over time. The older leaves are dying off, but that's just when they're that small. The plant's like, I don't need you, mate. I've got this big new one. Some people think they're really hard to look after. Some people think they're really easy to look after. And my theory is that they are easy to look after, but they do not like it if you ignore them. So I keep mine on my coffee table where I can see it all the time, and it seems to like that. And then my last plant. This is my last plant. It is a Philodendron gloriosum. They'll all be tissue cultured, but there are various different like strains. So this one doesn't have particularly strong veining, but I really like it anyway. I actually thought it might be a glorious rather than a gloriosum, just because it seems to have a lot of aerial roots. But if you look, so gloriosum crawl and glorious climb, and this is definitely crawling. You can see because the stem's going that way. I'm going to put it in my peace lily pot, the rectangular one. When we moved to this house, well, it wasn't when we moved. So this house has much harder water than our last house, even though it's 8 miles away, and you can kind of see there's like little bits of minerals on the backs of the leaves. They often come out like almost like tiny shards of glass, but it hasn't, touch wood, affected the plant at all. They don't seem that bothered, like any of them. So yeah, this plant, this is a new leaf, obviously about to come out. What I will say about this plant is that something is happening here. I don't know what it is. Are you going to focus? It says no. There's something, so this is the petiole from, this is the new leaf. That's the petiole from the one before. Shall I just peel it back? That's definitely a growth point. That's definitely a growth point there. Interesting. That'd be... I was thinking that would be cool, having another growth point, but actually, how would that work? They grow that way. They grow in a line, like horizontally, not up. So if I had two in there, is it going to grow over the top of the other one? Like, is it going to grow at a right angle? So I'll have to have it in a like V-shaped pot. Oh well, so it doesn't matter, does it? We'll sort it out. I can always chop it and prop it, and then I'll have two. Look at him. Look at. I chopped and propped him, what, 3 months ago? He just doesn't care. He was a really nice shape for about a week. He was just one stem, and then I had all the babies around the bottom. You can see he's rejected some of the babies, like there's a lot of dead leaves around the bottom. And he just went all in on his one stem, produced a load of new growth points, and then grew into this mess again. I think they're all like that. I think all golden dragons are like that. So yeah, so that is it for my houseplant tour. So anyway, that is it for my houseplant tour. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope the annoying noise... Do you know what is hilarious? Is that I just assumed that that was what the annoying noise was. Didn't actually check if there was a problem with the microphone. Well, I'll see you for round 3.